What's good, YouTubes? Steph here, and welcome to Theta Space. Today I'm continuing my progression through the discography of Japanese prog rock band Kenso and reviewing their album Sparta. Sparta is the fourth studio album by the Japanese progressive rock band Kenso and was originally released in 1989. My copy is the 2009 reissue CD BIFUKA-naked, which is the 20th anniversary remix of the original release with a couple of bonus tracks. This was the final Kenso album that I collected, except for the last one, which came out in 2016. According to the liner notes by band leader Yoshihisa Shimizu, production on Sparta began in 1987, and it was a difficult time for the band. They ended up not being satisfied with the quality of the sound on the original recordings, and it didn't help that they changed out their rhythm section during the production of the album. Masayuki Muraishi replaced Haruhiko Yamamoto on drums, and Shunji Saigusa took over for Kimiyoshi Matsumoto on bass. So Shimizu had always wanted to remix Sparta, and around 2008-2009 he got to do it. The original analog recordings were digitized, and Shimizu tapped Kenichi Mitsuda to do the remixing. Mitsuda wasn't on the Sparta album. He'd been a composition student at Tokyo University when the album was being made, but he's been with Kenso since the following album, Yume no Oka, which came out in 1991. Because he wasn't a part of the original recording of Sparta, Mitsuda could be objective in his listening to the material and deciding how to get the best sound from it. When they started recording for Sparta, Kenso included Toshihiko Sahashi and Kenichi Oguchi on keyboards, Kimiyoshi Matsumoto on bass, and Haruhiko Yamamoto on drums, along with the ever-present Yoshihisa Shimizu on guitar. Over the course of the recording, Matsumoto and Yamamoto left the group and were replaced with Shunji Saigusa on bass and Masayuki Muraishi on drums. Both would remain with the band for some time. Saigusa is still the band's bassist today. At least as recently as the last album from 2016. Well, Muraishi's last album was the 2002 Fabulous Mirabilibus de Bombikosi Scriptus, and he played the 2003 concert that was released on the Hareki video. But by 2006's Utsuro Yukumono, he's replaced by Keisuke Komori. It looks like Yamamoto was the first to leave, as he only plays drums on the first two tracks of Sparta, while Matsumoto plays bass on every track but the third and sixth. The album opens with Good Days, Bad Days, which starts out slow and fanfare-like, but it gets rocking within about a minute. And that's followed by Bifuka, my favorite Kenso track on any album, and the high point of the Hareki show for me. Very symphonic prog vibes there. Those are the last two tracks to feature Haruhiko Yamamoto on drums. And the next is The Stone of Golden Hair Village, which is more of a fusion track and a little on the short side at just under 4 minutes. It's also the first track with the new bassist Saigusa as well as new drummer Muraishi. MISKATONIC is next, one of two tracks introducing a H.P. Lovecraft-inspired theme in the title. Musically, it continues the fusion vibe of the previous track. PM is the second longest track on the original album at 7 minutes 11 seconds. Only Good Days, Bad Days is longer. This one's also mainly fusion, but with touches of symphonic. There's a long couple of minutes in the middle where the drums lay low in the background. They still keep the tempo going, but very subtly, while one of the keyboardists plays a long synth solo. GESSHYA SENKOH is a lovely number that kind of floats along with subtle drumming through most of it, kind of like the interlude in the previous track. It's also one of the two that features new bassist Saigusa. Stone of Golden Hair Village was the other. When I first listened to this album, I thought GESSHYA SENKOH was my favorite track, but that was before I listened closer and really heard how awesome Bifuka is. It's still a great track, a more symphonic prog than most of the rest of the album. I think I overrated it a little based on the Hareki performance, which is what I first heard before I collected Sparta. I had the Hareki video before I managed to pick this album up. The next to last track is the other one with a Lovecraftian title, The Shadow over INNSMOUTH, which is actually the title of a Lovecraft story. It's another in-your-face fusion jammer, and it's really the album closer because it's followed by NEURO-PSYCHOMA, which is a disposable soundscape that lasts only about half a minute. That's the 8 tracks that make up Sparta, but this release includes 2 bonus tracks. The second is a live version of Good Days, Bad Days, performed in 2008, with Keisuke Komori on drums and Kenichi Mitsuda on keys. It's a good track, but the real gem is the track preceding it, BIFUKA-naked, a solo piano version arranged and performed by Mitsuda. Naked's a good term for this one. It's stripped down to its bare melody and harmony, and it really shines as a solo piano piece. Atari Oguchi-san. As you already know, if you watched my Kenso album ranking from a few months ago, this is my favorite album of theirs. I like the third album almost as much, but this is where they hit the peak. It's not perfect. I don't see that NEURO-PSYCHOMA was necessary to include, but on a 10 scale, it's still a solid 9 for me. What do you think, Kenso fans? Looking at you in particular, Mr. Scott Lade, if you're watching. I know you're a fan. Let me know in the comments. Also, please smash like if you up, and hit subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. See you next time. Until then, bright moments. Steph out.